Naveed Razi with MMA Weighin here with Hall of Faming boxing coach Freddie Roach. And Freddie, obviously it wasn't a very good day for Pac-Man the other week. He caught that punch, and it's kind of the sport of fighting in general where anybody can kind of take a punch. Was it just a lucky shot that happened to land at the last second, or do you think that Pacquiao did something wrong in that fight?
Well, if you watch that from the above view, you see where Pacquiao stepped in. He stepped on his foot, and when Marquez stepped back, Manny fell into the punch, and it was. But you know, Marquez is a very smart fighter, and he did the same a similar move in the third round when he knocked Manny down the first time. So I think it was calculated. I'm not going to say it was a lucky punch. He's a very smart fighter. We just got caught, and I think it was a great fight up to that point, though. I think it was one of Pacquiao's best fights. I think he was looking really good in the fight, and I thought he was about to knock him out, but. You know, one punch can change things in the sport, the contact sports, and that's the way life goes.
Absolutely, and it was a pretty devastating knockout. It took Pacquiao a little while to get back up after that, but surprisingly, immediately after, he said he wants another fight with Marquez, which probably strikes a lot of normal people as odd, but not in the boxing world. Is Pacquiao ready to jump right back into things and shoot for a rematch, possibly with Marquez, or what do you see next for him?
I was worried about him, so we made sure that everything was checked out. There was no concussion at all in the knockout, and you know, when Manny does get back to America, we're going to go to the Cleveland Clinic here in Las Vegas. They have an office there. We make sure everything's good, and he wants to jump back on that horse and get back in there. And they're talking about tune-up fight first, with both guys being on the show in Macau. And then the rematch later on down the road, maybe in September, Mexican Independence Day. So it's definitely something that he wants to do, and I'm going to make sure he's 100% healthy before we make those decisions, and because I care for the fight of health first. And if he does get in the ring again, he'll have a 100% clearance.
One quick thing, Freddie, there was some controversy going into the fight. It kind of went under the radar. Marquez is training with a former guy that was involved in Balco. I'm sure you know about this. And Victor Conte was constantly tweeting him saying that Marquez looks like he's kind of hit puberty all over again in his midlife. What do you think about PEDs, and do you think that there was something a little fishy with Marquez in that fight?
In my opinion, I think something was fishy, yes. At 35, our bodies started to decline. At 39, he's getting bigger and stronger. He never had a muscle in his stomach in his life, and all of a sudden he's ripped. You know, they just need better testing in sports, and especially in these sports, because these are contact sports. And I hope it doesn't take to someone to get killed for them to do something about it, because it will happen. You know, it happens in football. They score touchdowns. In baseball, they score home runs. In boxing, they knock people out, and people do get killed, and it's part of our sport. So it's something that we really, really need to address, I feel.
And I understand it's a delicate situation. You don't want to air somebody out or anything like that. But to the eye test, as you mentioned, the muscles in the stomach, it seemed almost insane. The guy standing next to you, Chael Sonnen, actually joked about it and said, you don't hit puberty again in your mid-30s. So what do they need to do differently in the testing? Because it seems like a lot of guys are getting away with stuff that they shouldn't be able to get away with in a professional sport like boxing.
The Olympic-style drug testing is something that's been talked about and so forth. Donaire does that for every fight. He pays for it himself. He makes him and his opponent both have Olympic-style drug testing. He pays for it, gets a clean fight, and there's nothing dirty going on. I think we might have to do that with these big title fights, where they make enough money where they can afford to get the test done. But as long as everyone agrees to it, and everyone should agree to it. If you don't agree to it, you must be dirty.
Thank you for the time, Naveed Razi with MMA Weighin. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you very much.